Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The Plant Power Challenge is a one-man awareness campaign championed by fitness and health guru Wethu Ngubo. Challenge aims to challenge all stereotypes and miseducation that we have been exposed to when it comes to diet, health and endurance. Now to tell us more, we're joined via Zoom by Wethu. Very good afternoon and thank you so much for making the time, Wethu. What is this all about and how did it come about?
Thank you, Desiree. Thank you, Desiree. So I am full-on plant-based. The whole challenge came about when I realized that there's a lot of stereotypes around plant-based eating, and there's a whole revolution happening globally where you find a lot of medical researchers, doctors actually going this route of actually encouraging people to let food be their medicine. There's the scientific approach that was taken by a lot of doctors, globally renowned doctors and nutritionists, to actually say to people that, let's look at how we eat. Let's remove any animal-based products from our food and actually go the plant-based route, because it has been scientifically proven that this actually does reverse a lot of lifestyle ailments.
So what are you encouraging people to do? Are you encouraging those three things I mentioned in my introduction about diet, endurance? What sort of conversations are you having around this in relation to plant-based diets?
Okay, so there's two things. The first one is to say a plant-based diet is actually a diet that can enhance athletic ability. Number two is to say a plant-based diet is actually a diet that has been proven to reverse a lot of lifestyle ailments.
Continue.
Yes. So the reason why I then decided to take this route is because being someone who's been on plant-based going for 3 years now, I have seen how it has helped me power myself up in terms of great athletic ability. Yeah. But I'm also someone who has had cancer previously, so I speak from a well-informed position. But number two is I have done my own research and independent research and have actually linked it to a lot of research that is done by renowned medical researchers like the likes of Dr. Neil Bernard, the likes of Dr. Esselstyn, the likes of Dr. Campbell, in line with Dr. Sebi, the late Dr. Sebi, who has proven that when we eat a plant-based diet, we reverse a lot of lifestyle ailments, because we know for a fact that South Africa is one of the countries that have got leading premature fatalities as a result of your diabetes, your cancers, you name it. We've seen it. In fact, each and every one of us in our families can attest to premature deaths. So I'm bringing a different conversation to the table.
Yeah, it is a different conversation and it's a bit complex. I'm sure we can't go through all of it in one conversation. But you say you've done a lot of research. Just give us some of the numbers, the statistics, the new information in terms of what you say that it can enhance your athletic ability.
Okay, so for instance, it is known, it is a fact that animal-based foods are inflammatory foods to the human body. Now, your recovery takes longer. Your recovery from injuries takes longer. So it has been proven that when you put athletes on a plant-based diet, they recover quicker and their performance is quicker and more natural. They don't have to use supplements to enhance that. So you actually keep the body in its natural state. So meaning you're not going to use supplements to power up your performance, whereas you're busy damaging other parts of your body. I've seen it with myself. I used to take a lot of supplements. I used to do the 94.7 and other endurance activities. And when I went this route, and it was just a total different experience, which is why I'm saying now I'm putting the body to its maximum. I'm going to run 84.4 kilometers on the 10th to actually make a point.
Yeah. So you say this is a one-man awareness campaign. Just give us a sense of how many people you've been able to reach out to in terms of people responding to you. I don't know if you engaging online. Which platforms are you using to engage with the people that you're targeting for this message?
Look, the response has been quite good. I use platforms like I use a lot of Instagram and Facebook. There's been great response. There's people who've personally come to me to actually engage me on this, and there's people who have switched over to the plant-based diet, and they can actually tell me that they feel much better. There's they've been to see the specialists who say, well, continue doing what you're doing. There's been great improvement in your health. So these are people who are also spreading this campaign. So it was a reach one to reach many type a strategy, and it's really gaining momentum in a really good way.
That's really awesome. Wethu, tell us about your cancer journey and some of the milestones you reached through this approach.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. Even though it was in its chondroplastic stages, I didn't go for chemotherapy. And as you would know, some specialists had said that one would be given up to 3 years to live. And 19 years later, I'm here. Even though I've not been plant-based for the past 19 years, I actually only went this conscious route. This is my 3rd year going, but I can tell you I'm a living testimony that, I've taken care of myself. I'm even much healthier than I was that I've ever been. I'm in my healthiest state. I'm in my most athletic and fittest phase ever in my life. And I can tell you, there's people who have come, who have consulted with me. And look, I'm also not going to say I'm a medical practitioner, but I'm just assisting people to just switch over to a plant-based diet. And these are people who have said that they've seen great results. One of them being a lady who was supposed to have gone on for an operation for fibroids, and suddenly she went to see a gynecologist, and the gynecologist said to her, whatever you are doing, keep doing it, because the inflammation is gone.
That's awesome. A lot of people will switch to a plant-based diet for aesthetic reasons, and you're saying that it's good health-wise as well. Extremely,
but it has to be whole foods. I mean, it's pointless to go on a plant-based if you're still going to eat refined foods that are plant-based from the shelf.
Actually, that's another conversation that's very complicated about the decision in terms of which plants to eat and which plants not to eat. Some people will say it's the plants that grow from underneath the soil that are best. Others will say it's the plants that grow on top of the soil. How does one navigate this very complicated space?
It boils down to education. It boils down to, we need to understand what is natural. We need to understand what is hybrid. We need to understand what happened during the agrarian revolution. We need to understand all of that. So this is one of the main things that I want to achieve with this, is to say, let us have a conversation. Let us start talking about what whole foods is, what plant-based whole foods is. Let us try to understand that, and we need to understand that we need to eat food that is consistent with our genetical predisposition, because it is one thing to eat healthy, but you need to eat food that is consistent with your genetic predisposition, because don't eat foods that violate your biology.
So, Wethu, you're a Zulu man, Ngubo.
In fact, okay,
they
conversation for another thing. Yes?
They believe in eating ujeqa nembuzi. How do you convince that kind of narrative to say there's another way?
I need to be the living testimony.
But tell us how you've been going about it. And I suppose what I'm trying to ask you is, what sort of pushbacks have you gotten it where people have said, you know, and how have you responded to those kind of pushbacks?
Yeah, look, and I'll tell you, in my own family, my own direct family, I've been trying to push this, but I can tell you, we just recently had a COVID death in the family. And I think I stepped up and took the opportunity to actually start convincing, not convincing, but having this conversation about, you know what, we need to stay away from inflammatory foods. We need to eat foods that build the body, that feeds the cells. You know, we need to eat foods that give us life, not eat food that actually take away from us. Yeah. I've got my elder brother now who's been on a diet for the past 3 weeks. He's actually telling me that he's actually starting to feel good. Yeah. You know, it's going to be a long journey, because remember, this is going to take a lot of social re-engineering.
But this is also such. On many levels, this is such an important conversation. How do somebody watching and wondering, what are inflammatory foods? And these are most of the foods that unfortunately are consumed mostly by the black society.
True. Okay, your dairy, your meat, and anything refined and processed is your inflammatory food.
Yeah. I think
so. Meaning,
yeah.
It then says that we must stay away from food that is from animal sources.
Yeah. We hope to talk to you some more and regularly, because, like I said, I think it's such an important conversation, and perhaps for every conversation we have, we need to break it down to one particular focus. But it's quite a necessary one as efforts get underway to get the South African population healthy. Wethu, thank you so much. Wethu Ngubo there. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Wethu Ngubo trying to encourage South Africans to adopt a plant-based diet. What are your thoughts about this? Let us know at the agenda_SABC. Is it the kind of conversation you'd like to explore further? And do you think it'll be beneficial for our population?